Yeah, so but let's talk about Survivor.
So we leave off from Liana going home last week, and it's just kind of talking with everyone about like why Ricard was not sent home, mainly from Deshawn and Danny. They're just confused.
They're like, what was the reason? Like,
and
you have a chance, go for it. Then Xander's just sitting there like
honestly though, like on one hand I understand it, but like Ricard set himself up to where he's gonna be kept around by Xander, by Erica, by Heather. Like
he's like golden right now, and he is my winner pick. So I'm like, he's either gonna win or it's gonna be one of those things where like he's like second or third, but he should have won. You know what I mean? Like he's playing the best game overall so far. And it's also like, it's like Danny and Deshawn were saying, like, why did we not get rid of him? Like, yeah, why aren't you guys getting rid of him? You're literally handing him the win, because I get Xander's part, but the rest of them, no, y'all should jump on that. Xander, it's working for Xander, but it's going to work against the rest of you guys because you're all going to go before him.
That's what I'm trying to say is Xander at least makes sense with like, I have to keep him and he knows he has to keep me.
Yeah.
Up until I think Ricard is gonna definitely try to do it first.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Xander still has his idol.
Yep. So, he hasn't had anyway, he's just sitting back chilling.
I honestly, Xander and Ricard both, in my opinion, are equally as deserving right now.
Yeah.
But I know that they're probably not gonna sit next to each other. So one of them is gonna
cool, even though I'm like,
I do want a girl there, so like Erica.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, okay, I am like, let's get the girls, and I am like, let's get the people of color. But if you just like take all that aside and like pretend there's no gender, pretend there's, you know, they're not basically white guys, because I think Ricard is mixed with something, but Xander's white. You know what I mean? So it's like, and Ricard presents as white. So you know, it's. If you take that away and just go off of like their gameplay, yeah, I want to see those two because they're playing amazing. They're playing great games. So they're like leagues above everybody else that's left now. Who's left now after this week? Like, come on,
not much
playing like they're playing. Like it's you know. So I want them, but then it's like you remember like. You know where we are in the world, and you're like,
they're playing the best game, so that's why I'm like, I want them to be playing the best game. That's why I think Erica would be a good contender for the winner also right now, because she's kind of making a
little bit of moves,
a little bit of a stance for herself, where I feel like she kind of was forced to from the hourglass, like however long ago that was. But
it was like a minute ago now, because what episode was this?
This is like episode
8, 7, something like
12.
That. 12?
Yeah, and we have like 2 episodes left.
I'm like 7, 8, double that.
I think it happened in like about halfway ago, so like episode 6 or 5.
Yeah, of what I thought we were on. That's when it happened.
But just to recap, basically, we have a reward challenge this week, which there wasn't much to say about it.
And the only drama, there was like drama that came with it because they decided to spotlight the fact that Deshawn was like, let me just clock back in legally from lunch, and so I'm being paid, but I can still be on lunch. I took it early. I have to for stupid time card thing to be correct. Cameron ADP. End meal. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. Sorry.
So Xander, Erica, and Deshawn end up winning the immunity challenge. They end up choosing between either
not the immunity, the reward challenge.
Okay. So
but the what I was
wait, hang on, let me re-say it. You go first and then I'll say the
So Deshawn is like the only thing that they kind of spotlight at the beginning of the reward challenge, of him just kind of being like about it being food again. And Jeff is like, what? It's Jeff, right? Okay, because I always want to call him the other one.
Yeah.
And I switch them up. But I love them both. Love you so much. Oh my God, sorry. They show him being kind of like disappointed or whatever, and they're like, "Why are you disappointed?" He's like, "Well, I just thought you were gonna say like a letter from home," and then like Jeff's like, "I give you guys food. You guys want food. That's all you need. You're hungry and you're complaining because it's not a letter." And Deshaun's like, "Yeah," like he was pissed. And I was just like, dude, beggars can't be choosers. You chose to go on Survivor. You knew you were going to be stripped of so many things. And like, this is a luxury and he's offering it to you. And because it's not the one you want, you're mad.
It was just a weird complaint.
It was weird, but they spotlighted it. Like they talked about it. You know, they could have left that out. They could have edited that out. They didn't.
Well, he ended up winning too with Erica and Xander. And they ended up picking chicken and vegetables over dessert.
Yeah, you could either have like cake and cookies or chicken
like
and vegetables.
Protein, like helpful dinner, I guess.
Like I get it, sweet tooth, get it, but you don't even know exactly what they're gonna give you. Chicken and vegetables, you know you're getting chicken and vegetables, and you know that your body needs that fuel right now. So I feel like it was obvious, and I would have been shocked if someone picked anything else. So that's what they picked. They were the winners, and they're sitting around chit-chatting.
And they're basically, Deshaun, I think, is the first one that's like, so like, can we solidify like us three? Because I feel like we'd be really strong. And obviously Xander and Erica are gonna just agree. But
yeah,
I
but
think it was because Deshaun knew he was in trouble from last week when Liana went home. That now means it's just him and Danny. From his perspective, at least.
Yeah.
So then we have Xander kind of questioned by Danny, right? And also Heather questioned by Danny. They're just trying to figure out why Ricard was not sent home.
Yeah, like why this big threat who was an option that was sitting there, not who you guys wanted to send home.
Right.
But I'm also like, I don't know if I would have been like Xander, when he asked Xander, and Xander was like, honestly, like he's as big of a target as me and I need him for that. I was like, yeah, that's true, but like maybe don't tell the other side that. Like then they're like, now we want him even more, or we'll get you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I felt like that was a little slip up on Xander's part, but it didn't. It works out that it probably isn't going to come back to bite him because of the person who you're talking to not being here anymore. So I guess it worked out, but it seems sloppy.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, the arguments that they said to Danny and Deshaun of like, listen, like I'm not here to play your game. I'm here to make moves for me. As much as it may end up biting me in the butt, like it was what I wanted to do. And they get very kind of, well, I'm not like saying like you shouldn't have. I'm just asking why. And I'm like, no, you're calling them like dumb basically for keeping Ricard, which they very well are, because I think voting Ricard over Liana.
Yeah, but what that did was it took down the other side's numbers that they already wanted to get rid of anyways.
Right. And they're not aligned with Liana. They're aligned with Ricard. And they were just kind of trying to say that without like saying it.
They kind of gave themselves away a little bit though, but it was just, I don't know, it was interesting conversations.
Yeah. Danny goes off after his conversation and looks for an idol. He doesn't find one. However, Ricard believes he does because he comes back super happy, you know.
He got caught looking for something. And so then he played into it, and then everyone believed he had it. So then they're like, he gotta go.
Believed he had it in the moment. But later, as we'll see, he kind of doesn't play into it as well anymore, and they just kind of see through it. But we can move to the immunity challenge, which this one was a team one. They had basically two split teams. It was like who was it? It was like Deshaun. Hang on.
I'm trying to remember.
No, it was individual immunity. It wasn't the relay, was it? The relay was for the immunity. I mean,
Or
for the, oh my
I'm
God.
like,
The immunity challenge was what the fuck was it?
I can't remember. You gotta look it up. I'm sorry. This video is gonna be the one that needs some editing.
Because the reward challenge, they were split up in teams, and it was like the relay race.
But that's because also I'm thinking about it, like an immunity challenge couldn't be pairs because only one person's winning immunity. They're not giving immunity to 3 people, 4 people.
Yeah. So let me check real quick on what
I'm trying to remember right now. I'm trying to think. The hell was it?
Oh, it was like they had to walk across a beam and like make a word puzzle. And it said like, what did the puzzle say?
Yeah, now I remember.
It was like a phrase in Survivor.
What was it again? I can't remember. But it was like 4 rows.
It was. I have no clue. There's so many pop-ups on this fucking site. Go away. Okay. Why isn't it saying what the fucking puzzle was? Dude, these like summary articles sometimes are just like, it's like a little bit too much of a summary. It's like, I need like some information, please.
They're like, it was an episode of Survivor.
They're like, they competed, and this person was like,
oh, you're like, that's not enough. I could have told you that. Damn it, Janet.
I really don't have to pull up the episode, but I'm going to. Give me 1 minute. This is just, I'm gonna have to. This one might not be up for a minute.
You're like, because I'm not gonna want to do it.
Okay, 41, 12. What did the puzzle say?
What the fuck was that?
The only one who's won it. For the 3rd time this.
Oh, we can also say it was his 3rd immunity win.
Jesus. What, am I on here looking like I'm slow? Hold on. What the fuck?
Oh, don't make this next vote your last. Okay.
Is it me? Is it me? No, I'm actually not behind. Suck it, motherfuckers. I knew I could do it.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
So the puzzle.
Apparently, I'm not ready. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay, so the puzzle for the immunity challenge, it just said, don't make this next vote your last. So they had to stack up. They weren't individual blocks, like they were like Tetris pieces, kind of. You had to walk across a beam. You could only bring so many pieces. And going into this, Deshawn and Danny were like, guys, as much as I understand the whole keeping Ricard over Liana, it's like he's winning these challenges. Like you can't just, like, you can't be like banking on the fact that you'll get rid of him, because now we're getting down to final 6 at this point, right?
Yeah.
At this point, it was still 6. So Ricard ends up winning. and
they're like, well, crud, because we had kind of been on the plan that I think this is what we're going to do.
They were going to get rid of Ricard this week.
Ricard said, no, not this week.
This is his 3rd immunity challenge win, which I believe is the most out of anyone.
Xander's gotten at least 2.
Xander's gotten 2, I think. Counting individual wins.
He's definitely got the most, but they're close still.
Yeah, I think Xander has 2 individual wins. And then Ricard has 3 now. And very quickly, within, I think the last, like, however many episodes, he's already got 3 immunity wins. So Ricard is doing amazing.
Like when he needs it too. Like they're not just like, oh, that's cool to win. It's like, no, you were gonna go. Like they were actually gonna do it. They were all gonna band together and get rid of you. Now they can't. And so then of course Danny and Deshawn are like,
well, where one of us is going.
Yeah.
So again, Xander is not even mentioned as a possibility this episode. I don't know what is going on, if it's just like the way they're editing the like conversations, but like I can't remember a legitimate conversation where Xander's like an actual possibility.
It's been a minute.
Like since like teams and like
Yeah.
like the tribes were still a thing.
And he's like somehow sliding under the radar. Like they're more worried about like Erica. It
I
doesn't
don't
even make
get
sense.
it. Like everything
got-
they were saying about Ricard applies to Xander as well. Like, why are you keeping him here? He's not
Like,
even in the consideration.
No, we're not worried about him. You should. You really should.
And honestly, Xander's looking really good now that Liana's out of the competition, because Liana was a big push for Xander going home. I guess they had like some little like flirting like thing that we didn't really get to see on the show.
Oh, that's why they don't like each other, because like that didn't work out, so they're bitter.
Yeah, I forgot they were posting it on like YouTube, like little segments of like just kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, why aren't you including that in the show?
Oh, that's tea. Because they were making it look like Liana was just like had this out of nowhere vendetta against him. Like she just hated him for absolutely no real reason.
I know,
like,
and it made her look really bad.
Yeah, they weren't saying like, oh, like they were making it seem like she just wanted him to go because she was like, I hate him, instead of it being like, oh, he's a good player, I want him to go. Like they made her look a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now that I know that, I'm like, ooh, tea.
Honestly.
It would have been kind of cute though, so sad.
Yeah. Hopefully I think everyone's been like pretty okay after the season, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Then we move on, and there's some talk about Deshawn going, because Deshawn and Erica have a conversation where Erica says Heather is going to be difficult moving forward because she's kind of in a spot where I want to be. And Deshawn being messy. This is where I'm like, Deshawn is like, had he played it right, it wouldn't have come off so messy. But the fact that he waits until tribal every single week, it seems like, to like pull up some dirt on someone, it's like, what are you doing? That makes you look so bad. Like you need to plant those seeds beforehand, not like 5 minutes before everyone votes.
It seems very rushed and just very sloppy, and then like a little just immature.
Yeah, and it's like Heather did not give a fuck. Like she was like, okay, I'm saying pretty much the same stuff about Erica. Like we're all gonna have to go eventually.
It's like, we are playing Survivor, right? He knows that. He knows it. Like, okay.
It's just, I don't know. So we get to tribal. Ricard's not up for consideration.
Can't be.
Xander isn't either. So
no worries. You're good, Xander. Chill.
They know that the only play they have is to make them seem like Danny has an idol. However, even if he did, they would have one of them would have gone home regardless.
Yeah,
because
they weren't able to flip it onto like any of the people that were working together.
They split the votes. They were basically saying they're gonna tie it so it's Danny, Deshawn, and then it'll force them to vote against each other, and then we'll go from there. However, after that little stunt Deshawn pulled, I was worried that like Deshawn was gonna go from the start. Because I was like, he's just been messy this whole episode, and then he pulls that stunt at tribal, like he's just gonna go. Then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, okay, does it make sense to get rid of Deshawn, who has not won any immunity challenges, and two, is so exposed with his game right now that it's like a given he's gonna go home next week?
Yeah.
Or do we keep Danny, who has won the previous immunity challenge and is a lot more of a wild card in terms of like being able to manipulate or like strategic wise, like he could pair up with Ricard or Xander, like.
So they made the right decision, but I also felt like it wasn't fair. Like
I felt really bad for Danny
to go,
It's how I
Based
felt
on-
about Liana going, where I was
Yeah.
like, she doesn't really deserve to go this week, but I guess like it
It
makes
is
sense.
what
to
it is. Yeah, it's crazy.
So when it goes to the split vote, like Danny ends up going home like unanimously, which he was shocked by, Deshaun was shocked by. Like
I
they
think
just
they
set up a
both
whole
thought-
episode for it to be Deshaun, and like Danny got barely any coverage.
Yeah,
which is
and
kind of why it was shocking.
I really thought that like they were gonna play like more emotional in the way of like Deshaun's just like messy, he gotta go. Like we can't do this anymore. But they didn't. They were, I guess you could say game wise, they were smart. They picked the more lethal player to go of the two, and then he's probably gonna go this next week unless he wins immunity. That's my guess.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he's sort of like
I
a
think
done
it's
deal.
between Deshaun or Ricard next week, where I don't think Xander's gonna be up for consideration.
No.
And even if he is, he has an idol.
Yeah, exactly. So he can at least get through one thing like that and then go for immunity again. I don't know.
think if Xander's smart, he might keep Deshaun and try to get Ricard out this like upcoming week.
If he's smart, yes, but I feel like Ricard is just gonna get him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Ricard has Erica and Heather more than Xander does.
Yeah.
But if
But we'll
Xander's
see.
smart, he'll start planting those seeds like this upcoming week. Because I don't know how, like, again, I don't know how the final stages of the game work and
Yeah.
how far it gets to final two, how that works. So
Yeah.
we will see. I think we're coming down to like the last 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, so exciting. We're gonna find out. We're not gonna be Survivor virgins anymore. We're gonna have watched a full season. Of course, it's a season that was shorter. What do you know? That's fine. It's been really good. This episode was good. I can't wait for next week. But if you want to hear what we have to say and what happens next week, you need to like, comment, share, subscribe.